Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch, where so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Brunonians, even if never before, please join me in prayer. We, the grateful who shared once a transforming walk through Van Wickle Gate, walk again together. That self-same gate now sends us forth. And we step to this hallowed ground, the place of our university's forming, Brunonians. College Hill's pilgrims, we ply the paths of the centuries, fusing tradition, conviction, scholarship, hoping to form in this generation new justice, new inclusion, new compassion, ever true, yet ever new. Brunonians. This beloved class of 2016 bears to these altars offerings of gratitude, memory, articulating that this Brown's rising generation still has new but holy hope. In gratitude, we remember beloved family who cannot join our celebration, separated from us by distance, by illness, and even by death. We pause to hold them close in our hearts, their dearness near. Bright even as they are just out of view, so especially our honored classmates who go before us in death. Victor Chang, Adrienne Deschamps, Sarah Overstreet. Their loss diminishes our joy, and we hold their memory sacred and will keep ever bright their place in our Brunonian circle. Today we clasp hands that once belonged to strangers. College Hill, once an enigma, now a map we know by heart and walk in our sleep, sometimes. Early, late, in all weather, we safe-walked, completed our buds shifts, got to Nelson for morning workouts, and shuttled from Ship Street to Barris and Holly and back again, knowing that Brain Gate doesn't swing like Van Wickle, and that tinfoil people aren't really scary, that Shakespeare in the Rain is likely and Dave Binder, bless his heart, just keeps coming, that Mikes and first gens and Sci-Liars alike master a Brunonian alphabet from RPLs to the BDH that will enable us, in time to come, to chart the unfolding of the diap, even from growing distance. These letters, visa stamps on our Brunonian passport, artifacts of a sojourn that changed the way we talk, the way we think, the way we dream. Keep clear the midnight strains of the Hutchings Vody, the coxswain's cry on the Seekonk, a cappella arch sings in spoken word in the rhythm of drums and drums and drums. Keep bright the quiet green's blaze of daffodils, Wilson's purple haze of red buds, the magnificence of the green's magnolias. These inches and miles of Brunonia's halls, these streets, these fields, our books, our labs, these faces, May they be ever with us, their clarity never dimming, even as it softens. Brown's commencement falls softly each year amid our nation's Memorial Day. We ask gratitude for lives given and lost in military service. We ask grace for those we commissioned yesterday for their service in our nation's branches of all kinds. May our nation's abiding commitment be ever to liberty, to human good, to justice, and to peace. And may we never take for granted those who provide for our national protection and service. And finally, may this rising generation of beloved New Brunonians find life's purpose in their capacity to see and to cherish coexistence. It is not easy, and to care for a good and needy earth, building our vocations on foundations of loving kindness. May blessings abound, and together may we be a blessing in the life of the world you love, this day and always. Amen.
Hello, it's me. I'm wondering if after all these years, you'd like to leave. I thought so. So let's begin. By the authority vested in me by the Charter of Brown University and the Board of Fellows of the Corporation, I hereby declare the 248th commencement of Brown University convened. Welcome to this beautiful place on this beautiful, momentous day. Now, you may be ready to leave Brown, but I have very mixed feelings about seeing you go. And that's because this class, the class of 2016, is the very first class that I welcomed to Brown as a new university president. And don't tell your classmates from other years, but you will always be really, really special to me. So subsequent welcomes to new cohorts of students, classes of students, they've already honestly begun to blur together. But I remember your start at Brown with remarkable clarity, welcoming you to orientation on the main green on a muggy fall day in September of 2012, and talking with you again a few days later at opening convocation, sadly in the gym because it was pouring. The energy in that gym, though, was just unforgettable. You arrived at college as an amazing, creative, brilliant group of students, eager to start your college careers. And today, 4 years later, you depart as an amazing, creative, and brilliant group of students, eager to start your lives after Brown. So, in a few minutes, I will recite the words that formally confer your degrees, and you'll be on your way. But before I do this, I just want to take a few minutes to reflect on what we have learned from each other over the past 4 years. And I want to start with something that I hope you learned from me if you were listening at opening convocation. And you may recall that at that opening convocation, I encouraged you to approach your time at Brown with constructive irreverence. I explained that universities are, by their very natures, irreverent places full of irreverent people. Our charge is to advance knowledge and understanding, and this means, by definition, challenging conventional wisdom. We can't reach new insights, we can't invent new products, we can't devise great new public policies if we assume that everything we're taught, everything we see around us is correct and should stay the way it is. And we can't change the world if we can't see where change is needed. Now, at the time, yes, I talked about irreverence, but I also noted the importance of the constructive part of the equation. Challenging ideas and people without understanding them limits your ability to learn and impedes your ability to affect change. Being constructive means listening to, collaborating with others, and it means taking action, not just tearing down what needs to be changed, but replacing it with something better. So, we've been through a lot in the last 4 years. We know that it can be really difficult to strike the right balance between irreverence and constructive engagement. And this played out on our campus in discussions about fossil fuel divestment, racial injustice, sexual assault, freedom of expression, numerous other topics. And while we don't always get it right, there is so much that we can be proud of here. We're a learning community, and we learn from each other. It's a two-way street. And I know that I have learned a tremendous amount from you during our 4 years together. And time again, I've seen members of this community step forward to pose creative, constructive solutions to problems that we face on this campus and around the world. So in fact, while I may have tried to teach you about the theory of constructive irreverence on that day 4 years ago, in the time since then, you've taught me about constructive irreverence in action. I watch Brown students working together with others apply the knowledge that they've gained from their studies to make a difference in our community and the world at large. And I can recall numerous examples that involve many of you who are standing right here today. The students who conducted qualitative research on the water crisis in Flint, Michigan to ensure that the voices of affected families were heard. The students whose inspired work led to the creation of a new center for first-generation college students at Brown. The students who collaborated with legislators on drafting Rhode Island's first ever climate change bill, which was signed into law in 2015. The students who turned their knowledge of biotechnology into a new, faster rape test kit. And even, I would add, a team of lacrosse players that is playing the game in an entirely new and unconventional way, what they call controlled chaos. Congratulations, guys. Where are you? Lacrosse players. Somewhere. They're here. So these examples, these stories, they are quintessentially Brown. They're stories of determined individuals who are pushing forward for change in smart and savvy collaborative ways, making full use of all that they've learned on their academic journeys. They're stories of people who not only came up with good ideas, but who made those ideas come alive. Now, I have to say one thing. You're really great, but you can't take all the credit for your Brown experience. The truth is that for the last 4 years, you've lived in a community that was constructed for you by Dean of Admissions Jim Miller, and our faculty and our staff, and yes, and they're great. This resilient and resourceful Brown ecosystem with its opportunities for personal creativity and growth and intellectually demanding academics and steady encouragement to think for yourselves and to give back to others. This is precisely the kind of ecosystem in which constructive irreverence thrives. So now you're leaving. And quite honestly, you're going into a world that doesn't always share the Brown zeitgeist. It's a place where personal insults pass for electoral politics, and where the media, social or otherwise, often creates hollow echo chambers that reinforce beliefs rather than challenge ideas. It's also a world, though, where people are grappling with the same fundamental questions that you've been asking at Brown, but on a much broader scale. Questions of how to create equity and justice, how to sustain successful, open, pluralistic societies, how to use technology for social good. So going forward, as you leave this place, you are going to see expansive opportunities to have an even bigger impact on the world. And as people who have been steeped in constructive irreverence, who are not afraid of learning and collaborating and creating and doing, You're perfectly prepared to play a role in finding solutions to the problems that animate these questions. So in the end, I don't want you to leave Brown. I want you to take Brown with you as you go. I want you to embed yourself in communities that support and inspire you. I want you to challenge yourselves to continue to learn and advance knowledge, and always to see where change is needed and to act. So let me close by saying something that I said to this class at opening convocation. I said the following: the Van Wickle gates will open for you on the day you graduate, I hope with better weather than we have had today. That worked? And you will walk back down this hill out into the world, and on that day, I hope you will be prepared to change a world that too often resists change and too often tolerates the intolerable. To apply this constructive irreverence to the world and all that lies beyond those gates is your challenge, and I hope your destiny. So, now we actually come to the most important part of this ceremony. In fact, the most important part of this day. And this is when you are actually awarded your degrees. So listen carefully. So I have to start by getting the assent of my colleagues to do this. And I'll say the following: Socii honorandi, juvenes quotas gradum baccalaureae, idonenos comperimus vomis presentamus, et eus ad hum gradum promovere liceat rogamus. Okay, we have permission. Candidoti o gradum baccalaureae auscultabunt. Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please listen attentively? Auctoritati mihi commisso vos o gradum baccalaureae admitto, omniaqua jura ac privilegia ad hoc gradum pertinentia concedo, in huius rei testimonium diplomata vestis conglegis in conlegii Brahmane tradum. And for those of you who didn't take classics, by the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the bachelor's degree, and I grant to you all the rights and privileges pertaining to this degree. In testimony of this fact, I will award diplomas to your colleagues symbolically on the college green. Congratulations, you may now move your tassels. We look forward to seeing you back on the college green. Congratulations.